BowTie Barbecue Company at 6724 Walters Avenue in Savannah serves up barbecue both familiar and new, made by hand and made with love. Family friendly and relaxed, BowTie takes great pride in the by hand preparation of high quality beef ribs, smoked chicken, pork spare ribs, and more. Come join the BowTie family. Ask about our food truck and catering too. BowTie Barbecue Company, Southern charm naturally. Look for them online at BowTieBarbecueCO.com.
Welcome into the Danny Britt Show, live here from BowTie Barbecue in beautiful Savannah, Georgia. Christian Gokel alongside the head football coach for your cadets, Danny Britt. And Coach, it's a huge game week. Buford coming to town this week, but man, feels like you already played a playoff game. Coming off of a tough 27-24 loss out at Colquitt County this past Friday night. And Coach, it was a hotly contested game. But I think both of y'all said after the game, it didn't feel like a season opener. It felt like you guys were playing deep into the playoffs. What were some of your takeaways just to get off the rip from that game?
Yeah, I mean, definitely you're right. It was an unbelievable atmosphere, extremely intense game, very hard-hitting game. So, yeah, it did not feel like a typical season opener for sure, I think, for either team. But, it was an incredible experience for our guys. And I remember we kicked the field goal to tie it up late in the game, and the kickoff unit's coming out, and I've got some young sophomores running out there, Landon Harris being one of them. I said, man, this is a great atmosphere, and he just smiled, and he was looking up in the stand. He's like, yeah, this is good stuff, Coach.
Yeah, not the first time you guys have played a massive opponent to start the season. Christopher Columbus from Miami, Raven Gap last year, but something different about this one. And I was talking to Kevin, a lot of it has to do with where you're playing it. And instead of playing it at a neutral site, you're playing at somebody's home stadium. But, man, it felt different from other years.
It did, and definitely I think, one, like you said, it was, just a great atmosphere there. There were a lot of people there. They had their music rocking, which I'm trying to get our guys to do a better job with the music, and who cares what the old folks think. If they don't want to hear it, then stay home. So, yeah, it's it was a great atmosphere, and that kind of led, and then it, led into, it became a very physical, violent game.
So let's start with some of the positives, Coach. Able to rush the ball really well in this game, and just it seemed like when you needed it, it was there in the running game. Stanley Smart goes for over 80 yards, over 100 yards combined there for your feature back. And, again, Josh Washington able to get some stuff going off the edge. Seemed like on the road, we talk about it, if you're going to win and give yourself a chance to win against a good team on the road, you have to be able to rush the football, and you guys were able to do that.
Yeah, that's something we're going to have to be able to do, and we did it against a very fast, good football team. I thought Stan ran really well. I thought we, for the most part, blocked well across the board. Both the offensive line and the backs blocked well for each other, the receivers. So it was, that was a good, indicator of what we can do now. The defense obviously even gets tougher this week. So we continue to work on it, continue to really focus in on that because that will obviously open up the passing game.
Now, past couple of weeks, obviously won a scrimmage and then the regular season opener. You guys able to go down and score on your opening drive. So it seems like if nothing else, that script for the first drive has been able to really click the first couple of games.
I think so, and I think part of it is, coming out the pace we go at, and the other teams usually aren't used to it. So, Coach DePhilip's script and what he sees in the film really does has seemed to pay off.
Now, to the defensive side of the ball, and I want to start with the positives. Defensive side of the ball, outside of a couple of big plays, didn't feel like they were able to really move the ball all night. When you went back and watched the film, what were y'all able to do well against their offense?
Yeah, we did well up front. I thought, we ran to the ball well. We tackled well. We were very physical at the point of contact, whatever that was. Secondary included, did a good job of getting them down when they did get open. We gave up the long pass was just a blown coverage by a young guy, basically is what it amounts to. And we went back over and just reviewed all of that. And that's part of it. And that's why you play teams like this. You play a bad team that can't really throw the ball, doesn't have the concepts, don't have, a ton of athletes, all of that. You may not get exposed. Well, you get exposed when you play, really, really good football teams.
And kind of sticking between the whistles right now, because we'll get to the after the whistle stuff here in a second. But again, outside of a couple of big plays, it felt like you guys were able to control the tempo on defense. But we've seen it a couple weeks in a row now. Again, special teams are playing a really big part in this. 2 of their touchdown drives, one was 30-yard drive, one was a 5-yard drive.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys go into practice this week and try to manage some of that, not giving up the short fields, especially after a kick?
You know, you can't get kicks blocked, and obviously we did in the scrimmage, and we worked on that both with personnel and a little bit schematically. We've just got to do a better job, and it may be, personnel, switching some things around. You can't do that. You can't give them a 5-yard field, and that's part of it. We got brand new guys in all these spots, and again, you're playing teams. If we were like most people and schedule, the team, you're going to beat by 40 or 50, then you don't even get exposed in that.
Sure.
You don't even notice it because it happens. You maybe they score and it's their only touchdown.
Right.
But when you play teams like we play in situations like that, it exposes, it hurts, and we deal with it.
I'm flipping back over to the offensive side of the ball, Coach. Again, you score on the first drive, and then later in the game when you needed some answers, you got it. Stanley Smart, again, able to punch it in, and Stephen Cannon able to use his legs, had a great touchdown pass to Bubba where he's able to get off platform and find him. You got Texas Tech to Notre Dame. I mean, that's hard to stop.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there were some kind of lulls right there, and it feels like what's really made this offense go the last few years is you have the gimme plays where you're able to dial it up. Again, really good Colquitt defense, so taking nothing away from them. But through Camden and now Colquitt, it feels like the guys are kind of struggling, whether it's drops, missed assignments on the offensive line, to just find those give me plays.
Yeah, we're going to have to just become more consistent, and that's part of what we do. And you keep showing up to practice. There's no magic answer. Coaches tell you, I'll back up a little bit. Education, they love to sit around in meetings and have meetings and talk about better ways to do things, when all it is, you just got to be consistent and do the things, continue doing what you're doing.
Right.
We got to continue doing what we are doing, and just get better and better and better at it. That's just the way it is. That's just life. Not to say you can't change something, but there's nothing really to change. There's no magic answer. There's no magic pill. You just keep going back to work and showing up.
Better to be an inch wide and a mile deep than a mile wide and an inch deep.
Okay.
Yeah. Think about it.
Never heard that one, but
think about it. But again, the offense, if you put up 24 points on the road, you gave yourself a chance to win. I feel like they did their job. Special teams wise, don't want to be too harsh. You had some good kickoffs there, and then Parker Lewis able to come in, hit a clutch field goal there late in the game. But Coach, kind of the thing that ends up, I think, really affecting you, and this is a couple seasons in a row, it's South Georgia. It's hot, it's humid, it's muggy. You've got guys starting for you in the first half, and by the third quarter, they're not available. And you have guys like Aaron Mallard, who started the game as kind of a slot receiver, and all of a sudden he's playing slot receiver X, having to run the football at tailback. You're really testing your depth early in the season.
We are, and we talked about this all the way back as coaches, all the way back to May, and we have to build depth. And this is part of it. You're building depth, and sometimes you do it out of necessity, and that's what we're doing now. We have, we've given them tons of BioLite and waters and all the things we're doing. We constantly talk to them about, eating right, drinking right, getting sleep. It's amazing because that happens. People see it. They come in like, hey, you need to tell these boys. I'm like, it's a constant thing that we do, and it will continuously get better. And so we're working on a few things. We're doing a few other things to help these kids. We're getting some treatments coming in tomorrow to help, especially the guys. But what happens is when you get situations and for whatever reason you have to start playing both ways, it hurts guys too. And that's what happened to both Bubba and Stanley. They ended up having to go in on defense, and it hurt us.
And again, talk about Josh Washington there. He had to start at your safety spot, came over, carried the ball out on offense, had to play wide receiver. He goes out, and like you said, all of a sudden you got some sophomores in there who this is their first playing experience, and it's at Colquitt. It's trial by fire for a lot of these guys. But I think it's a good lesson for those guys who maybe in practice standing on the sideline watching Bubba Frazier and watching Josh Washington that, no, you need to be taking the mental reps and you need to be ready to go because, as we saw Friday, very likely you could get into a football game.
It does. You start understanding and you start – and we rep the twos as well.
Right.
offense, defense, and special teams. So they know they're right there and able to get in. But there's nothing like true game reps, especially in those type of environments.
Right.
It's a different thing, and that's building depth. And I don't know, unless you are like a Buford or a Colquitt County, the bigger schools, and they have the numbers are just different. This is every year. You're going to have to deal with that. You only have so many athletes. We still play our guys. We still practice our guys both ways. Of course, Steven doesn't, and most of the offensive line doesn't. Other than that, everybody practices both ways. So it's part of it, and you just want to build as much depth as you can, and hopefully we can get out of the injury business and get these guys healthy and be a little more solid, have a little more depth.
Let's get to the question everybody was asking this week. What's Danny Britt's reaction when you have over 150 yards worth of penalties that aren't in kind of the line of fire, where you're cool with the holding penalty, you're cool with the pass interference if you're playing hard, but the after the whistle stuff, going back and watching the tape, maybe kind of giving the kids benefit of the doubt, maybe the ref saw something that didn't actually happen, but after watching the tape, what's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I mean, just like I said after the game, extremely frustrated. That's why we lost the game, period. It's not because we had a few guys that were cramping. It's not because, one of our young DBs gave up a long, deep ball.
Right.
It's because we let our emotions and lack of discipline cost us the game. And that's from the 15-yard penalties after the play and the 5-yard penalties pre-snap on offense, that we go from 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 to 3rd and 6 or 4 and 6.
Right.
And it kills you when we did that 3 times. So that's what cost us the game, period. Hands down, that's it.
And from guys who have played a lot of football too, where it's, again, I understand it's the first game of the season. It's emotional. I say it over and over again. It felt like a playoff game, and both coaching staffs have said that now. But it felt like Colquitt, once they realized kind of what was happening, why not try to get in your face and try to draw a reaction out of you? And just, I guess, as a competitor, you have to have that little bit of wherewithal to know that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And you realize what's going on, and we got to have, again, more discipline, and that's 1,000% my job, and I didn't do a good enough job of it. So, we focused on that all week. We talked about it after the game. It's not. Here's the thing, everybody, people like to talk about coaching. Well, you just go run them boys to, they have to make a decision. That's not what they want to be. Right. And I think in watching it and showing them and saying, hey guys, imagine if we had been disciplined and done these things. One, we wouldn't have had to have some of these guys coming over to play defense.
Yeah.
We would have been in a much different situation, and they understand it. Again, we focused in on it a little more at practice and making sure we're holding in on the snap count, making sure we're clean. We're, pull up on the sidelines, which, again, I'll give that. Like, if you're coming over and maybe you a half a step into the sideline and you hit them and they throw the flag, so be it. Accidental face mask, those happen.
Right.
What are you going to do? You're playing hard, go get it. But there was some stupid stuff. And the biggest thing is, talking to all of those individuals that had those stupid stuff penalties, they understand it. They apologize for it, and realize that they have to change.
And I guess you never want to learn a lesson in a loss, but it feels like those lessons maybe ring a little bit truer because, like you said, you guys clearly win that football game if you don't have those. Right. So maybe it sticks a little bit more in their craw because you did lose it.
Oh, 1,000%. Let's be honest. You forget about a bunch of that stuff if you win.
Right.
Oh, you're concentrated and it's on the win. I mean, Coach Saban used to say it all the time. All of his assistants would say the man wasn't happy when he won. But it almost was like he was happy
when he lost, yeah,
because he knew his team would get better. He knew there was a pain there that he could use to force them to get better. So we'll get better from it, and hopefully learn and move on.
Well, we're going to find out on Friday. Kind of a small test.
Yeah, small test
coming down from Northwest Atlanta there in Buford, one of the premier programs in the entire nation. coming to Savannah Memorial Stadium tomorrow night. We're going to take a break. We'll preview that one next right here on the Danny Britt Show.
BowTie Barbecue Company at 6724 Waters Avenue in Savannah serves up barbecue both familiar and new, made by hand and made with love. Family friendly and relaxed, BowTie takes great pride in the by hand preparation of high quality beef ribs, smoked chicken, pork spare ribs, and more. Come join the BowTie family. Ask about our food truck and catering too. BowTie Barbecue Company, Southern charm naturally. Look for them online at BowTieBarbecueCO.com.
Want to make some extra cash just by sitting on your couch? At Cash and Carry in Savannah, Georgia, we buy any car, no matter the condition, and take it right off the road. Just visit the link, enter your car details, and get an instant offer. Cash and Carry, turning cars into cash without leaving your couch.
Criminal defense, family law, DUI, and divorce. You need representation. The one to call is Savannah's own Jonathan V. Dunn, PC, attorney at law. Voted a Thomson Reuters super lawyer consecutively since 2023. Online at jvdattorney.com. BC Brothers Moving is Savannah's most trusted moving service. From residential to commercial to packing supplies, BC Brothers does it all. Let BC Brothers' energetic, trustworthy team wrap it, pack it, and move it for you. Check out BC Brothers online at bcbrothersmoving.com or give them a like on Facebook.
Plan your hunting getaway and escape to experience the beauty of Mossy Pond. Our diverse property right here in Pierce County allows you to enjoy various types of hunts, including plantation-style quail, hog, pheasant, and flooded timber-style duck hunts, all within 24 hours. At the center of it all, experience scenic, rustic, beautiful, and inviting amenities like luxury lodging, our first-class pro shop, fine dining, and the perfect event space. Book now and see why Mossy Pond Lodge is Georgia's premier hunting paradise.
Welcome back into BowTie Barbecue. Christian Gokel alongside Danny Britt. And Coach, you got a big one this week.
We do. It's our first home game is here. Every play counts on the field, and every investment decision counts for your money. That's why so many in our community trust a local team of advisors. Abel's Iron on Moore and Associates, local fee-only investment advisors with a national reach, helping your money work harder.
And Coach, we talked about it a lot prior to this season, but after you guys go up to Buford last year, the return trip on the calendar, and this one's been circled by a lot of fans, a lot of people just in the Savannah community who like high school football, going to be out there. Pretty close to a sellout already at Memorial Stadium, so if you haven't gotten your tickets already, go get them. I mean, high energy. It's got to be exciting to be coaching ones like this. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what I told the kids. You came to BC for this, and you know, it's really a cool, you know, going to be a great environment. A lot of people, a lot of excitement. It's probably going to rain. Just go ahead and plan on it. That's I don't know why anybody is surprised. I'm surprised we're here actually because Aaron was going to get us. We were all going to be dead this week. That's true. We didn't. It didn't happen. I'm glad we kept working. So, you know, it's probably going to rain. Just prepare for it and let's come on out, and it's going to be a blast. I think for, you know, fans and such. Maybe not so much for us. It's a lot of competition, but we're excited. I think both coaching staffs looking at this one like, dang, because you come off of a Colquitt County game. They played Milton, one of the premier programs in the state and in the country this past week. They got a day extra of rest because they played on a Thursday, but still a really physical game that they played against a huge quarterback up there for Milton. You guys obviously playing a really physical game against Colquitt. I think it might be a little bit of a mash unit for some teams. And just, again, you talked about importance of depth coming into this one. It very much so, and I can imagine, I mean, I just know by looking at it that they have more people than we do. So it's the depth is a little different. But we know that. I mean, that's when you're playing programs like that, that's just the way it is. So I can imagine, though, they've got some they're dealing with as well, so we'll, could just go out and see what we can do. But it's going to take everybody, full 4 quarters. And hopefully we can make it through this one without losing anybody. And Dayton Raiola, the younger brother, Dylan Raiola, out there at Nebraska, he's committed to Nebraska. They're starting quarterback, a lefty. Saw him last year. Right. And really almost a pro style system that they run with him, where they're going to go under center. They'll be in the pistol. They'll be in the shotgun. They like to run a lot of boots. What kind of challenges does he present that offense present for the defense?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot. They do so many different things, and it is very much a pro style offense. And they have, tons of H-backs, that they can bring in, and then all of a sudden you're in empty sets with a bunch of skill guys with a lot of speed. So it shows you everything across the board. And, in preparing for programs like this, it really prepares you for later in the year. Pretty much anything you're going to see like that, I mean, of course, it's not the old school wing tee and stuff that, we'll see from some other teams, but it prepares you for that pro style of offense. And
defensively for them, I think they kind of won the game for them against Milton last week. Both offenses really kind of struggled to move the ball past the 50. They both had one big play that kind of broke it open for an offensive score, but for the most part, as a defense, they had a couple of interceptions, one for a pick six, and then one that set the offense up inside the 10 that past week against Milton. When it comes to what they're trying to attack you with defensively, what stands out to you?
I would think, they're just so good up front, and they can really, get after you, and, on the front, front seven guys, and that just is kind of makes the difference there. It changes things. I mean, they're not that they're not good on the back end too. They kind of play what they play, and do it against whatever you show.
Right.
So it's really what they do up front, how they attack.
And I was kind of laughing last week watching the ESPN broadcast of that one, because it seemed like every single guy they had out there is like, okay, well, this guy's going to Ole Miss, this guy's going to Mississippi State, this guy's choosing between Georgia and Alabama. So as much as people like talk about BC and, hey, you got 5 guys with D1 scholarship offers right now, it feels like the entire starting 11 for that defense has an offer from somewhere.
They do. I mean, pretty much all of them do, and that's we knew that. I mean, it's 30-something guys with Division I offers on the, but the best thing I can tell our kids though is you can only put 11 on the field at a time, and we showed that last year when we played them. I mean, if it were the top 40 against the top 40, we'd be in trouble. but because you can only put 11 out there, we have the opportunity to go win the game.
And, Coach, I'm trying to pull it up right now. This will be the first home game for you since October of last season, October 31st against New Hampstead. Last year, the way it kind of played out, where you finished in the region, had to hit it on the road throughout the playoffs. Now in this one, finally back in Memorial Stadium. Got to be nice to be able to know, hey, I just got to go right down the street to play a game.
Very, very much so. Excited not to have to go get on a bus, not to, have to worry about getting back at 4 in the morning, all of that stuff. So I know the guys are excited and play in front of their crowd. Although we've had some good support as we've gone, it's nice to get in front of their crowd and be at home, and we're excited for that.
You kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier in the show, but it's going to be, just in terms of tickets sold, a massive game. But sometimes it feels like we forget when we're supposed to stand up and be loud, and when we're supposed to be quiet and let the offense maybe do its work. So for the BC people in attendance right now who are going to be at the game on Friday, and for those watching who are going to be at the game on Friday, just how important is it for them to be loud throughout this one?
I think it's extremely important to be loud, to be supportive, to cheer. Again, like I said, I'm really trying to get with Jack and our people, and let's get the music right. Because that's important. You saw that last week at Colquitt County.
I mean, they were running it right up, maybe a little bit over the edge of when they were supposed to stop the music. But, you do it till the ref tells you to stop.
And the band was the same way. And I knew that was going to happen when I talked to people when we played there. And then the official came up and said, hey, tell your quarterback if it's something that he can't hear, he just lets me know and I'll put a stop to it. He was prepared for it.
Okay.
So, but it's great, man. It sends energy, and so we need the fans to do that and just realize, that what we have, and not only we have a huge challenge, but a huge opportunity.
Coach, couple of injury updates if we can. Josh Washington went out after a really hard hit in that game against Colquitt. How's he doing this week?
He's doing really well. He's he's been at school, been at practice, but he's not participating, and we're going to play it safe there with him.
So with him out, potentially Mackay missing another week, what does the safety position look like for you guys this week?
Well, Wyatt's back. Wyatt has practiced every snap this week. He started Monday and felt good and has really done well. And then Landon Harris will be starting at that other safety position.
And then flipping that over, because Josh plays both ways offensively, Bubba's all good.
Bubba is good. Bubba
Okay.
was good. He just is cramping, and
Yeah.
I talked to his dad. His dad texted me early Saturday morning and was like, "I will get this straight, Coach. I don't know." So we've done a lot with Bub, and we need him out there the whole time.
And so what does the rest of the offense look like after that? Aaron Mallett, obviously, like we talked about, played pretty much every position outside of quarterback and offensive line this past Friday. And then Stuart Dunn has stepped up, and he's been a big playmaker for you guys so far this season. So when you kind of roll out there with that 11 personnel, where's everybody going to be?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and Conaway will still be the tight end,
right,
when he comes in. But Karan Hall is the other split, and he started last week. It wasn't Josh. We started him on defense and just would roll him in with the wing T type look. And
gotta get the ball in his hands when he's there.
Gotta, and he does it so well. And which was working well until he got hurt, of course. And then, but so Karan will be the other guy. Stuart Dunn. Cole Henderson has started working back this week, and then, of course, Aaron and Bubba.
So when you look at big games like this, playing at home, huge opponent coming into town, you've coached in these games before. What's kind of the thread for teams that end up winning these games?
I think, one, again, you just go out and maintain a certain level of composure. You're excited. You don't come out flat, so you're excited, but you maintain that level all the way through. And we're going to have to go play really well, get some breaks, maybe score, on or right after some turnovers,
right?
And, to win this football game.
And again, massive game for the program. I think I've had some people ask, hey, when was the last time Savannah had a team kind of this caliber come down to Savannah to play a game, like maybe outside of the playoffs? And my only thought was like maybe Camden in the early 2000s. So when you kind of look at that, I know you're a guy who's just focused on the next week, but for the program to be on kind of at the level right now where you're scheduling at Buford, they're coming down, it's a nationally recognized game. That's got to be pretty special when you take kind of the 1,000-foot view of everything.
I definitely, I think so. That's what we talked about. I remember Coach Housen and I having that conversation when I said, hey, I think I'm going to schedule a home and home with Buford, and he thought about it, and he said, man, that'd be really cool, the fact that we have somebody at that nationally ranked type team coming in here. It says a lot about where we're at and how far we've come.
Because usually when you're at their level, you just kind of bring people in.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, we appreciate you. Here's your check. We'll see you next time. But for them to do the home and home, I think that's pretty awesome. So massive game coming up on Friday. And then kind of, Coach, looking ahead, just want to talk to you about this before we get there. Interesting schedule, obviously, because you're missing a game in there that you wanted to get but just didn't end up working out. Kind of the back end of COVID scheduling, I feel like, is what's causing this. But got a bye week coming up after next week, and then you have a 2-week period where you're going to be going. So it's kind of looking like the season is going to be in chunks of 3, like in thirds. How are you guys kind of approaching that?
Yeah, well, actually, obviously we're in the middle of it right now, and go play Buford tomorrow, then go get ready for Burke County and go play them. And then, honestly, I think it's going to come at a really good time. Yeah. I think it'll be good for us. I think that first week we separate a little bit and kind of go see our families and that sort of thing, and let the kids heal up. And then with the second week, we'll really come back together and focus back in on football. And by that time, we'll have met enough as a staff to know exactly what we need to do, But that first week, I've actually thought about it several days this week. Is just, I think it's going to be good across the board. We can just heal up and kind of put it down for a minute to pick it back up in a better light.
100%. Coach Ford, let's get out of here. Final question. There is live college football this Saturday. How excited are you to be able to just flip open the laptop or the iPad, whichever you're using now for the huddle, and have college football on TV?
I'm super excited. I was talking about it last night. I was talking to one of my buddies and just said, dude, finally Saturday we're going to be able to turn on TV. And then, of course, one of the ladies said, well who's playing? And I'm
Doesn't matter.
Do not care. And he said the same thing. Don't care. It's going to be on. We're going to be watching.
That's it. Excited for a huge game coming up on Friday. Kevin and myself will have the broadcast. We'll have the pregame show starting at 7. We'll take you all the way through till the postgame show where Coach Britt, where we'll yell at him. We'll get him up in the press box, regardless of the outcome, because sometimes I think he forgets. That's okay.
Yeah.
We're the little guys.
No.
I get it.
I'll be there. Sometimes y'all just need to call me and get my.
I'm gonna get a walkie-talkie and just put it on your back hip, and we'll kind of buzz you when we need you to come up. But again, Kevin, Thomas, and myself will have the broadcast there from Memorial Stadium. Encourage everybody to get out in person. It's not very often that there's a game of this magnitude anywhere in the state where these two kind of teams get together. A lot of guys that you're going to be watching on Saturdays in the future. So start at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Coach, we appreciate it, man. Excited to see you out there.
All right, thank you. Go Cadets.
When it comes to blocking all the obstacles that life throws your way, let Vernon Williams and Auto Owners Insurance help you dodge the hits, analyze the playing field, and run the ball all the way home. We shield you so you can have peace of mind when it comes to auto, home, life, or business insurance. As one of the oldest and most respected independent insurance agencies in the Southeast, we know what it means to stand behind the people we protect head on. Trust in the power of the Shield since 1934. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.